How's it going, everyone? It's Johnny Reid here with another episode of the Streamer Stories podcast. My guest today is LisaParaNorma. Here she is. Hi!
How are we doing?
I'm great, thank you. How are you doing? You doing all right?
I'm doing really well, thank you. Really, really well for
Ah,
a Saturday.
yeah, for a Saturday. Shh, this is on Sundays. It's on Sunday. It's
Oh, it's Sunday.
it's Sunday. It's Sunday afternoon. Don't know what
Oh.
anyone's talking about. Um, uh, So, Lisa, thanks so much for being on the podcast. It means a lot, and we know each other quite well. So it's great to have you on the show. But
Yeah.
obviously, I know you, but people might not. So, do you want to introduce yourself to people who might not know who you are?
Yeah. I'm LisaParaNorma. I do stream on Twitch. And yeah, I'm up in Manchester, so I'm a northern lass. And yeah, I'm part of the Nightbreed, which is where I've met Johnny. And yeah, we've met up quite a few times now, and it's a lot of fun, and I've made a lot of really good friends from it. So yeah,
Oh,
that's all
no,
I'm gonna
yeah,
say.
part of the Nightbreed community. But yeah, would you class yourself as like a variety streamer? What you do all sorts, don't you? Really? What?
Yeah, I'm one of them people where I will literally play what makes me happy or what I'm feeling at the time.
Yeah.
I don't like to just think of one particular game. Like if I find a game interesting or if I want to just practice like any game, like indie game, anything like that, I'll just go and play it, like a variety. But a lot of people associate me with like horror games because that's why a lot of people like to watch, and because my name's kind of like a play on words of the paranormal. A lot of people like to watch me play horror games, which I do like playing. I'll say I like playing, but I like getting scared and that adrenaline rush that you get from horror games. So I guess that's probably where I'm main at, but I do literally play whatever I want to play. That makes
100%.
sense.
Where's the name come from then? So is it paranormal or is it paramore? Is it what is it?
Um, yeah, it's kind of a mixture of both. It's a mixture of both. So my name originally came from, it wasn't actually Lisa Paranorma at first. It was Paranorma 2020. And the reason it was that is because at the time I wasn't expecting to go on Twitch. Like all it was is I was bored in lockdown, and my sister streams on Twitch, and she posted on Facebook that she was on Twitch, and I thought, what is Twitch? Like I genuinely didn't know what it was at
Yeah,
the
yeah.
time. And I was like, oh, I'll go into a stream, but I don't want it to know that it's me. So I thought, because on all my socials were Lisa Paramore because of my last name and because of how much I love Paramore. And so I went in, I thought, right, I'm gonna have to use something that she's not gonna recognize. So I thought Paranorma. I thought she's not gonna recognize that. And she was actually playing Phasmophobia at the time when I went
Right.
into the stream. So I thought, oh, it's a bit like spooky. And it just kind of, it was obviously in the back of my mind at the time. So I went into a chat and I just went, hey sis, like that. And she still didn't realize it was me. She was just like, oh hi, like that. And it was so I didn't tell her till later on that it was me. But yeah, that's how it came about. But then everyone kept calling me Norma, and I was like, well, my name's not Norma, it's Lisa.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I was like, all right, the first chance I get, because obviously you have your 60 days, don't you, when you first start Twitch, that you can't change your name. So I was like, as soon as I change it, I'm going to change it to Lisa Paranorma because it just kind of rolls off the tongue.
It really
Um,
does.
yeah, and the reason why I chose Norma was actually because that's my mum's middle name.
Right.
And she passed away over 10 years ago now. And I just wanted something that sort of reminded me of her and like a little bit of a memorial for her kind of thing. And it just kind of works. Lisa Paranorma. It's just whenever I go in people's chats, they're just like, "Oh, I love your name." And they sometimes get called Paranorman, sometimes get paranormal. But it's great, isn't it? You get all the different names, but it just makes it more fun and more interesting. So yeah, that's where it came from.
Oh, that's really beautiful about, obviously did the homage to your mum as well. So yeah, 100%. That's
Yeah.
incredible. And it's a lovely
Yeah.
story, and it really does roll off the tongue really well.
Thank
Wow,
you.
yeah. So okay, so this is kind of more like now, but let's take time back. Let's go back to the beginning. So what was life like for young Lisa then? Did you play video games a lot growing up? And if so, what was it that you went to?
Yeah, so my sort of love of video games kind of came from two people in my family. One was my nana, believe it or not.
Oh, nice.
She had a Sega. See, I can never remember if it was a Genesis or a Sega Master System 2. It was one or the other, and I can't remember. She might have even had both at one point because she was actually a big gamer, which is crazy to think like my nana was a gamer, but she was. And the first game she introduced me to was Sonic the Hedgehog.
Nice. Yeah.
Um, and we both loved it. And my sister, we just used every weekend that we used to go around. That's all we would do is play Sega Master System. Um, or Mega Drive, whichever the heck it was. It was the one where you had the built-in Alex Kidd. That's the one I remember. It was like built into the game, so you could play it like
I think
without
it
the
was Master
cartridge.
System then. I think.
Yeah, I think it was Master System. I remember seeing Master System on it. So it was either Master System 1 or Master System 2. Either way, it was a lot of fun, a lot of childhood memories with my nana. And I still remember for this day that I won't say it was speed running Sonic, but I got like, when you get the running legs, I can't remember what it's called now, but and you go fast and you can literally like speed through one
Yeah, yeah.
level. I remember doing that and my nana being like, "Oh my God, Lisa, that's incredible!" She was like so taken aback with me, just going boom that through the game. And it was just like a really nice memory. And like, yeah, so she got me into gaming quite a lot from a very early age. And we played Alex Kidd, we played Shinobi, the ninja game, which was incredible. There was one game we played together, and I could never ever find out what it was called, but it was basically like you were a starship trooper kind of thing,
Okay.
in space, and there was two of you, like starship cadets, and I've
Oh,
forever tried to find this game, and I've
oh.
never been able to find it. And you have like,
Is it
jetpacks on.
is it like Super Pro Protector or something like that? Maybe
I
might have been
honestly
something like
I've
that.
searched for so long to try and find this game, and I cannot for the life of me find it. But I know we used to play it, me and my nana together. And the other person that got me into gaming was my dad. So I used to watch my dad play like Silent Hill.
Oh, okay, yeah,
And
yeah,
me and my sister used to watch him play Silent Hill, and we would be absolutely crapping our pants watching him play it. I always remember him like running through the streets, and it was just being like so foggy with the snow. Well, it wasn't snow, was it? But the ash and stuff. And I was just like, this is incredible. And it just sparked my love for gaming, because I was quite like a tomboy growing up as well. Believe it or not, even though I look quite girly these days, I used to be quite a tomboy. So like my dad bought me my first PlayStation. He bought me a mountain bike. I was like, "Did you want a boy by any chance, Dad?" But no, honestly, it's one of the best things about like me and my dad and my sister, like I say, and my nana. We just had that love of gaming and that love of like family community nights and stuff like that together. And
yeah.
yeah, it just kind of went from there, really.
Amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got good memories of my granddad. My granddad was I wouldn't he was a bit of a gamer, but he used to play at the floppy disk, like the 80s, like MS DOS type of thing. That
Wow.
was actually technically, I suppose, I wouldn't call it a console, obviously, but that was one of my first forays into video games. Was
Yeah.
playing Wheel of Fortune on the floppy disk, and
Oh,
I
wow.
like hacked into it and changed the high scores to be me. So yeah, it's great to see grandparents. Hooray for
Yeah.
them, the great grandparents that, as in the fantastic grandparents that, paved the way
Yeah,
for us.
definitely. Definitely. Yeah.
Amazing. Oh, and
Yeah.
Silent Hill as well. I mean, what a game. So your dad had the PlayStation. So yeah, how was that then? So did you play any PlayStation games, or was it just like that's dad's console? We've got the Mega Drive or
Um,
Master System, or what was it like?
Well, he bought me my own PlayStation. I can't remember what it was now. My dad had everything. Even had a, what do you call it? Well, I can never remember the name of it. The Saturn, not Sega Saturn. No, not Sega.
Yeah.
Dreamcast.
Oh, okay.
He
Yeah,
had,
yeah, yeah.
he had a Dreamcast. He might have had a Sega Saturn as well, actually. I think my dad got me a SNES as well. I was quite fortunate as a child that I did get the consoles that I wanted, kind of thing. But yeah, I always remember the PlayStation. I always remember having the PlayStation 1 and playing Final Fantasy 7, for example. Me and my brother, my stepbrother, Tom, we would literally play that game together. So we did this really, I don't know if this was cute or whatever, but like we changed the name of the characters to match our names. So rather than it being Cloud, it was Tomlis. So
Okay. Yeah.
Tomlis. And then Aerith was Alice, which was Alice, which is obviously my name as an anagram. So it
Right.
was just like
Yeah.
a weird thing, like me and my brother bonded over, me and my stepbrother, because we'd known each other for a long time, like when we were growing up, but we didn't have a lot in common really. So yeah, we got into like PlayStation together with my brother, which was really kind of nice. And that was probably where my love of Final Fantasy came from. And we used to play, so we'd play a bit, I'd play a bit of it, he'd play a bit of it, I'd play a bit of it, he'd play a bit of it. And yeah, it was a really good time. So I always remember having a PlayStation. I always remember having a SNES. And whenever I go around to my dad's house, we'd always play there. We'd play. Oh, do you remember a game called Parappa the Rapper?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Oh, so I remember vividly playing that in the living room with my dad. And I love like, like rhythm games, like melodic games, stuff like that. Like I had Britney's Dance Bee. I had the dance mat at one point as well. I remember my mum buying me one of them because she knew how much I loved it. But I love rhythm games like that. So Parappa the Rapper was like one of my favorite games growing up as well.
Yeah.
Which not a lot of people have heard of.
Yeah.
But
They released a new one a few years ago, didn't they?
did they
That
really?
came out of nowhere. It was like, yeah, they made another Parappa the Rapper game, and people were like, oh, well, that was a blast from the past.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna have to
yeah,
get that.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to
I,
get that definitely.
I don't know what console it was on. It might be a PlayStation or I don't know, but
Yeah,
I think it was a PlayStation exclusive Parappa the Rapper, if I'm not
yeah, it
mistaken.
was.
So yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
he was a puppet, he was a dog, wasn't he? But no one really knew what he was or like where it came from or what the story was. It was just literally the case of pressing the buttons at the right time, kind of thing. But no, it was great, and like I say, it was a lot of fun. That's what I remember from my childhood is playing that. Um, Donkey Kong. I played The Lion King. Oh my god, the hardest game ever. I don't know if you've ever played The Lion
I
King
still
on
haven't.
the
No.
SNES. One of the hardest games because obviously you've not got respawns when you die. You die. You finish the once the game is over. You die. You go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's one of the hardest games ever. Anyone who'll tell you who like watches watched it or has played The Lion King, basically there's a part in it where you have to jump on the giraffes. And if you don't time it right, they'll hit the heads up and you'll fall down. And oh my god, I must have done that over 100 times at one
Oh
point because
man.
it's
Yeah.
so hard to do. And there's one part where you have to roar at a bunch of monkeys, and you have to get it in the right order in order for them to throw you in the right way in order to get past the level. And oh god, I must have spent hours,
Mm,
hours doing that game. But it was a lot of fun. Like it's just what you do, isn't it? Like you want to nail it at the time, but it's a
yeah.
really, really good game. You should definitely play it.
I
I'm
should.
pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can get an emulator for it these days.
Mm.
And play it.
Yeah. Well,
Because
I think with Aladdin and Lion King.
Aladdin, I was going to mention that. Yeah,
Yeah, I played
yeah.
Aladdin. I didn't play Lion King. It tends to be people play one or the other, or some people play both. But I think they've re-released because again there was different versions between playing it on the Mega Drive or the SNES. So I think they've released like a PlayStation 4 game of it being you can play either version of it.
I
Yeah,
need to get that.
yeah. I was
Yeah,
gonna
I
buy
definitely
it.
had it. Yeah, I definitely had it on the SNES at that point because I didn't have the Master System obviously at mine. That was at my nana's, but I had it on the SNES for sure. And I had Donkey Kong, and there was another game. What was it? Or was that on the PlayStation? It all kind of blurs into one now because they were quite, even though they were different, like companies and stuff.
Yeah.
That's all I remember. It is just playing the games. Is not obviously remembering who they were and what they were and all
Mm.
that. But like there was one particular game. It was called Cool Spot, I think it was called,
Yeah.
and you play as a little puck.
Yes,
Do you remember it?
I do.
And
I played the demo. I
yeah,
never played the actual game, but I had the demo on the PlayStation
yeah.
demos. Yeah.
And I remember playing that and really enjoying that game as well. Just really random games like platform games that I probably should play again, really. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was what I remember from my childhood. Never went outside. Never touched grass or anything
No.
like
Nah.
that. Oh,
No.
no. Maybe play
No.
Kirby once in a while. That was probably it. And that was like Kirby. Do you remember Kirby when you get the ball and you have to hit it on the curb?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Remember that? Yeah.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
That was outside my house.
No, I used to
That's
play
as
that
far
a
as I
lot.
went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a road that went kind of upwards though, so it was never fair because it'd roll back
Oh,
downwards, So
yeah. No, I
yeah.
remember that. Yeah. Bad times.
Good
Bad times.
Good times. So we're definitely going to talk. Okay, so me and Lisa were chatting on stream yesterday, as in not on it's Sunday, isn't it? Obviously, we were talking
Yeah.
about Final Fantasy. We're definitely going to talk about that in a bit. I think for sure.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
But yeah, so so a lot of interactions then with the family members, so that was good. So, do you have any other favorite video game memories of that time? Is there like a particular memory that comes to mind that you've not mentioned yet? Like you're like, oh, there was this moment, you know?
Can't have a think now. I think I probably said them mostly. Like, say, Sonic definitely was like the first thing I remember with my nana, and her being like really impressed that I could just like speed run it through it. And
Yeah,
she was just like, "You need to actually like go back and collect everything." I'm like, no, you just speed run it. It's fine.
yeah,
You literally just go boom, 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 and that was it. But I think I've only ever played because there's two versions, isn't there, of the Sonic? There's the like you said, there's the Genesis version and the Sega version. And I remember watching someone that I mod for play the other version, and I was like, this game, like I don't remember these levels. Like it's like a completely different game,
yeah.
which is weird. But
I, I've never played a Master System version of Sonic ever, and it's
yeah.
been like, oh, I should play them all at some point. Because I think there's Sonic 1 and 2, and I think there's like Knuckles Chaotix, or I think it was called. Never played
Yeah.
those, so I was like,
No,
at some point.
yeah, I think I only ever played the original one, to be fair. But like when I was watching, I was like, these levels are just they're so different. And there's one level that's particularly one. It's called Bridge Bridge Edge. No, what's it called? That's gonna bug me. Um, but the music for it
Oh, right.
is and like when you say that to people, either people know it or they don't because it's only in that version of the game.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
Bridge End. It might be Bridge End it's called.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's such an amazing and that song very much reminds me of have you ever Janet Jackson?
Yeah,
Everywhere I
that was
go.
what I was thinking. It sounded like I wasn't going to
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
It's
Everyone
like,
calls it the Janet Jackson song that like knows that song. And I'm like, she definitely stole that from Sonic. But like honestly, it's mad. But like I remember songs and music in games a lot as well.
mm.
So that's one thing I would say is the music that was in Sonic was just incredible.
Oh
And
yeah,
you can like
yeah.
take that with you wherever you go, kind of thing. Like I don't know if you played Sonic Frontiers yet, but I've been watching other
Not
people
yet.
play that.
No.
God, the music in that is amazing, and it's
Yeah.
just like it's gone from everything you remember as like nostalgic wise, and just brought it to like the next level. Um, so yeah, I'd say it would be that would be the music. That's what I carry with me,
Mm.
and the fact that you can just go back to any of these games and just enjoy and feel that nostalgia all over again. That's what I love
100%.
about games in general.
Yes, completely agree.
Mm.
100%. So what happened then from the PlayStation then? So do you move to the PlayStation 2? Do
Oh,
you go in a different direction?
I
We
think I
can.
did go to the PlayStation. I definitely had a PlayStation 2. But this is the thing, like PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 were very, very similar. So I can't remember which games I played on each.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
I know I played Kingdom Hearts, which
Yes.
would have been on PlayStation 3?
I
2?
think it
I
was
don't even know which
two.
one
I
it was.
think it was two.
It
But I
might
mean,
have
it could have
been
been
2.
because I think it got remastered on the third. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
it did. What else did I play? There was so many games. But then I went off kind of gaming for a little bit, as you do, you're a teenager, you're that kind of age where you're like, "Ooh, boys and going out and all that kind of stuff." So I did kind of not lose my interest, but just like, you grow up a little bit and you experience the world a little bit more. And I'd say I kind of came back to gaming later on in life, I'd say. It's always been there,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
like, it's always my dad's a really big gamer, like, he really is. He's like a 20-year-old trapped in a 60-year-old's body, my dad. So he's always, like, been an influence to me, and, yeah, I remember actually playing a game with my dad when he had a house in where I used to live. Actually, where I used to live as well, which is crazy. He had a house there years before, and I always remember us playing was it SimCity
Oh right,
together?
yeah, yeah.
Like
Okay.
those type of games as well, like where we built stuff together, and that was always like a fun time as well. So it's like like when you think about it now, you think, oh yeah, yeah, I do remember doing that actually. And then yeah, I had the SNES. I did have a Wii, but I never really played that. My cousin is actually a game developer, believe it or not.
Okay, yeah.
In real life, like he started making games at the age of 6. No
Wow.
joke.
Oh my
He was
God, yeah.
incredible, and he's taken that to a career now. He actually worked for Lego for a while.
Oh,
Um,
excellent.
yeah, I can't remember which games he worked on now. He either worked on Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, or Star Wars, or maybe even all three. Like he's really, really clever when it comes to games. And I always remember when we used to go down to theirs when they lived down in Reading, like the other side of the country. We always used to play Pokemon Stadium together on the NQ64, or we play Mario Party together, and it was just such a fun time and just fond memories that I will always take with me. And the fact that he's made it into a career as well is just incredible.
Yeah.
Because we always talk about it when I see him and stuff, and he's doing really well for himself.
Fair play.
If that makes
No,
sense. So, yeah,
that's
it's kind of been something that's been there throughout my life really. And my sister, like my sister's a big gamer. She does game on Twitch, but she prefers to game different type of games. So she plays like Oblivion or like Elder Scrolls or 7 Days to Die, which are very different games to what I play,
mhm.
but we still kind of bond over it in a way. It's
Yeah,
weird. And yeah, so it's nice. Because I spent
yeah.
Christmas with her this year and she got a PlayStation 5. So we sat there playing that new Forspoken game, like the demo of it, and that was
Yes.
really fun. A lot of people have given it a bit of hate, I think, which I don't know why, because I really enjoyed it when I played the demo.
It's
But
getting some mixed reviews. Yeah, seen.
yeah,
Hmm.
but we both played it, and she was showing me what to do, and it's kind of like the best parts of games all rolled into one. So like I can see Assassin's Creed in it, I can see Dark Souls in it, I can see The Witcher in it. There's so many because it's like different types of it. Because the way it does it is it goes off your gameplay skill level, if that makes sense. So you play the way you want to play.
Right.
So
Okay.
there's like different elements to it. So like there's earth, there's wind, there's fire, there's water. So you have these skill sets, but you play them in different ways. And I think that's why people were getting confused, because you have to switch around quite a bit and like use the controller in lots of different ways and lots of different buttons. But once you get the hang of it and you go, right, well, I prefer this style of game, or like I prefer shooting from afar, or I prefer magic, or I prefer fire, or I prefer weapons or swords. You just choose whatever you want. And I think maybe it was too much too soon or too quickly, and people were just like, I don't know if this is for me kind of thing, 'cause it's a lot to learn. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. We didn't really know much about the story, because when you actually start the demo, you start in the middle of the game. So you
Right.
don't know how you got these powers
Yeah.
or anything like that. But I'm still interested to play it. But it was nice that me and my sister could share that at Christmas, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
If that makes
Absolutely.
sense. Mm.
That's awesome. Okay, so I mean, I know. Obviously, I know not everyone else knows, but I know you're a massive Disney fan. So when you had the worlds of Final Fantasy and Disney, people might have figured out the tattoo just on the screen. But
Exactly. Yeah.
so when,
Area behind.
yeah. So when Kingdom Hearts was made and you found out about this world with Final Fantasy characters and Disney, what was that like for you at that point? I mean, that was an
Oh.
amazing moment in time.
It really was. Like, I remember playing that game, and I think I might have found it out a bit later, actually, because obviously there wasn't a lot of the internet about back then, and like, obviously there was, but like, when you're a kid at that age, you're not really on the internet and stuff. So I think I can't remember how I actually came across the game. I can't remember if my brother got it, and then we played it together. Again, the same as what we did with Final Fantasy, so it was kind of like
Mm.
that nostalgia. Or if I remember, I generally can't remember, which is baffling me now, to be honest. But when I played it, I was like, "This is so good," and it's the fact of bringing Final Fantasy, which is Square Enix, Onyx, however you pronounce it, and Disney together, and it's like mind blowing in that respect. And the fact that they could do that and do it so seamlessly and it works so well. That's what I loved about a Kingdom Hearts franchise. You're gonna hate me for this, but I've not completed all of them, which
Oh,
I
I
need
haven't.
to do. I need to play Kingdom Hearts 3,
Hmm.
and then I really want to play 4 when that comes out.
Yeah, yeah,
Played 1 and I've played half of 2. So I do need to get back to it. And that is something I want to do on stream this year, is to complete those games from start to finish.
yeah.
But my attention span, that's the problem for me, is I just get like, there's so many games and so many feelings
Yeah,
about
tell me about it.
games that it's just like, yeah, I need to play these games. But then at the same time, I'm like, I really want to experience them. So do I play them on stream, or do I just enjoy them for myself?
Yeah, I
It's such
hear
a
you.
big thing with streaming, because you're like, I could stream this and it'll be really good and it'll be a first time playthrough. But then you're like, but will I actually get the story? Will I absorb it to the point where I actually love it?
Mm.
Because sometimes streaming can take away from that, and it's nothing against the people that watch you or anything like that, because they're obviously there for a
Yep,
reason.
yep.
But when you're experiencing that first game, and this is what I'm going to be like with Crisis Core as well, because I've not played that yet either,
Oh, excellent.
and I'm going to be the same with Final Fantasy VII Remake, Rebirth, like we were talking about this the other day as well, is that, do I want to play that on stream as my first time playthrough, or do I want to enjoy it for myself like I did? Because I actually played the remake before I knew what Twitch was, so I spent
Yeah,
9 hours playing it, and then I spent another 9 hours the next day playing it, and I completed it and I loved it to pieces. But I don't know if I want that experience again. Does that make sense?
totally. 100% hearing you. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a constant dilemma as a streamer, isn't it? Like you said, for sure. But yeah, no, I've not beaten a Kingdom Hearts game. That's one thing I will say about Kingdom Hearts for me, is that they're hard. The
They
hard
are really
games.
hard.
I don't know if I could stream Kingdom Hearts, because I don't know if I'd handle the rage.
I have one clip of me doing Kingdom Hearts, and I was playing Maleficent. I was beating Maleficent at the time, and it must have been at least my 5th or 6th attempt at trying to do it. And the clip is actually hilarious, because it actually sounds like something else. I'm like going like that, trying to do it, and honestly, someone clips it, and they were like, "This does not sound like you're trying to beat a game right now, Lisa." And I was just like, "Oh my god!" And it comes up on people's shout outs sometimes. I'm just like, "Oh
Oh
no!"
no.
But I remember the clip, and I was like, "Yes!" Because I was when I was on my couch playing the PlayStation 4, and I beat it, and it was the night, like the best feeling ever, because they are hard. I
Yeah.
remember I was in the Soul Strikes stream the other day, and we were trying to tell him how hard Kingdom Hearts was. He's like, "No, it's not hard. It's not hard." Like, and
Really?
it was me, Ben, and a few other people in the chat going, "No, really, Soul Strike, it is hard." Like the
Mm.
bosses are hard. So he's like, oh, I might have to play that then. I'm like, yes, you
Yes.
definitely need to play. So hopefully we might have
Interesting.
another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Soulstrike, awesome friend of ours. I want to get it on camera now. Soulstrike, you better play it because I want to see that. It's so hard.
It is ridiculously hard. But once you've got like the right strategy set up and you've got, your keyblades and you've got there is some strategy to it and like what kind of powers you want to use and that kind of stuff. It does make it a little bit easier. Like I think I remember on that particular game I was playing, people were helping me in the chat and were like, why don't you do, I can't remember what the arrow was it or something, like which brings down the platform that she comes on. So you do the arrow first, brings her down, and then you can attack her properly. And I was like, actually, that's really helped me. So sometimes streaming can be good for stuff like that when you are
Yeah.
struggling and stuff. But yeah, no, it is a hard game, but I loved Kingdom Hearts. It's such an amazing story and like the emotion that comes from him and Kairi and just the idea of the story as well, like the fact, because sometimes like you could say like the heartless and like the darkness is kind of like mental health in a way.
Mm.
Like, it's kind of a little bit like it sucks the life out of you in that sort of respect. So a lot of people can relate to it. In which obviously my streams I do revolve around mental health as well,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm sure we will talk about at some point. But yeah, it was just one of them games that was really relatable. The fact that it was Disney, the fact that it was Final Fantasy, and the fact that it was hitting hard with like real life situations as well, like losing people, loss, grief, that kind of thing. Finding people again,
Yeah.
it was a great game and a great message in my opinion. That's probably one of the reasons why it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
To be honest. Yeah,
Completely.
because it hits.
Let's talk about that. That's a great segue into it, isn't it? So let's talk about that. So it's not every Wednesday, is it? But it's a Wednesday thing, really, where you have often in the past and hopefully may continue in the future. But you talk about mental health, isn't it? So talk us through that if you don't mind. So talk us about what led to that decision that you wanted to do that and what's come from it and what you hope to come up in the future.
So basically, I call it a Wellbeing Wednesday. And we do it once a month. And that's the only way I can do it is once a month because it is really draining. Like I won't lie, because it's talking about, for me, my own mental health, but it's also talking about the people in chat and the community that come in. Like I've had so many amazing streams of the Wellbeing Wednesdays because people can open up and talk freely about their mental health. And if people don't want to talk, they can just sit and watch and just enjoy, because we do this thing like where we'll go into some trigger warning things, and we'll go into some, and I mentioned that, and I do make sure I put it in the tags as well at the beginning of the stream, that we will be talking about some hard hitting subjects. I'm not going to talk about them exactly in this, and I have actually experienced them in my life myself. So for me, it's a way of being able to talk about it myself, because with this platform I've never had anywhere where I can actually talk about my own mental health. And I lost my mum 10 years ago. It'll be 11 years this year, which was a very sudden thing. She had a blood clot in her leg. So it was a very sudden thing that changed my entire life, and it always will do. And I'll miss her every single day because we were incredibly close, me and my mum. We were literally best friends. Like we didn't live together, but we worked together. So we were incredibly close as not even just a family, just me and her in general were close. I was her baby, I was her youngest. So we definitely bonded over a lot of things. When because I used to work in nightclubs, and then she was like, "You need to stop wasting your life in nightclubs. You're working in nightclubs. You work until 5 a.m. You're not like seeing the world. You're not experiencing it. You're just sleeping through the day and then working at night." And she was like, "I'm going to get you a job in this office." And I was like, "Okay." So she got me a job in the office, and I absolutely excelled at it. And I was in sales. I did energy, and actually no, I didn't start off in energy. I started off in debt management and debt collection. Believe it or not, an 18-year-old who was incredibly naive back then, not having a clue what debt was, but I was good at talking to people, and people like to open up to me. And yeah, we just kind of like we bonded over that, and we became really good friends. Me and my mum, like genuinely, like, it was weird. So obviously when she died, it was a massive hole for me. And then 16 months later, my stepdad passed away. He actually took his own life because he couldn't live without my mum, which was kind of sweet in a way, but again, it was hard hitting stuff, and I was actually the one that found him. He was alive when I found him. I'm not going to go into much detail about this because obviously it could trigger a lot of people, but it was just I was only 24 I was 23 when my mum passed away, and 24 when my stepdad passed away. And I don't think he actually meant to do it. I think he did it as a cry for help. Um, at the time. And yeah, that was quite hard hitting. And then my granddad passed away. I can't remember if he passed. This is the thing, because it was such a short space of time. If he passed away before my stepdad or after, but it was literally my mum, my granddad, my nana, and my stepdad that all passed away in the space of 2 years.
Yeah.
Um, and my granddad had a heart attack. I think my stepdad was there for his funeral, so I think it was that order. I think it was my mum, my granddad, my stepdad, and then my nana, she had cancer. So me and my sister had to pay for her funeral. Obviously, there was no one else at the time who could look after my nana, because they were obviously my mum had already passed away and things like that. So we had to step up to the plate, and a lot of my friends, believe it or not, helped me out with that. They did a GoFundMe page for me and stuff like that to help me pay for the funeral, which was absolutely incredible, and just stuff like that. And like for that kind of time period in my life, my mental health took a massive, massive hit. Like I got really bad panic attacks, which I still have, like quite often, to be honest. Like it's usually when I'm traveling, that's when I hate it the most. But they stemmed from the day of my mum's funeral and things like that. But having this platform to talk about it on, and to speak to other people that also feel like that, is such an eye opener, and it makes people feel like at home and in a safe place, because the person that's obviously speaking about it has gone through a similar thing, if that makes sense. But I've
Yeah.
always said to people when when we're having these mental health streams, these Wellbeing Wednesdays, is that please bring in whatever you want to talk about. I want you to, because there's a lot of places on Twitch where you can trauma dump. I don't hate that word trauma dump, but it technically is what it is. But I'm ready for it. I'm prepared for it, and the people that are in the stream are ready and prepared for it. We have trigger warnings, and we have disclosures and things like that, because we want to have that place where people can talk about stuff. And I've had many a time when people have come in and they've been first time chatters, and they've sat and they've watched, and after about half an hour, whatever, they'll say a few things, and then they'll open up and tell me something about them or what's going on with them. And it's
Hmm.
such a nice feeling to be able to feel that my space and my part of the internet is somewhere that they feel that they can open up to, like a complete stranger. But
Yeah.
sometimes it needs a complete stranger and someone on the outside to give an honest opinion. Like one of the last ones I had, I did one over Christmas, and one of the guys came in with a raid, and this was probably one of the best experiences that we've had so far. The day before, he was given CPR. I don't know if it was his nana or his granddad, because he didn't specify, but he said he was giving CPR to a 79-year-old, and it was like 2 or 3 days before Christmas. And he said, I don't really want to talk about it, blah 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 blah. I'm here with the raid. I'm here to find out what you're about, kind of thing. And the more we got talking, he then decided to open up, and he
Mm.
told us everything that was going on. And we ended up having like a minute silence for him. And he wanted me to play a particular song. We played Spirit in the Sky, going up to the spirit in the sky. And we all just sort of sat there and like took it all in. And it was a real moment, if that makes sense. And that's what
Yeah.
I love about streaming, is that you can have those genuine moments with people that you meet on the internet, because they can see that you're genuine and that you're trying to help people, and that they've got a safe space to talk about stuff and not feel judged and not feel like, oh, I'm a man, I can't talk about this. And because that's something I really want to focus on this year, is men's mental health, because
Mm.
I don't understand this whole stigma. I mean, I don't know if you've seen it on Twitter recently, that stupid woman, that streamer, I'm not going to go into it, but going on about how men shouldn't be able to feel sad and things like that. And I'm just like, you haven't lived life, love. You haven't experienced what these people have experienced. It doesn't matter if they're male or female, or any gender, or
Yeah.
any whatever they decide to be in life. Like everybody is accepted, everybody goes through things. And to have this place that people feel safe and wanted and want to talk about things, it makes my heart so happy. I've had so many amazing messages afterwards saying how much that they really like, it's really helped them. And I will continue to do them, because it's one of the reasons that I have this platform, is to be able to talk about my mental health, because I live alone. I work from home. I don't have many friends. Like all my friends I've met through Twitch, and that is genuine. Like all the friends that I did have, because I went through quite a not, I wouldn't say it was a bad breakup, but I was with this person for a long time. I was with him for 12 years. And a lot of our friends are friends together, which I do speak to and I do see, but it's difficult now because of like him moving on and me moving on, and we do try and still see each other, but it's not the same. And if I didn't have Twitch, I genuinely wouldn't have any friendships. So in order to have that side of like the community side of Twitch and to have the mental health side, it just works. And the games are there as well. Like it for me, it's never been about the games. The games are just kind of something that I enjoy, they enjoy, and we'll experience a story game together, which we can all relate to. Or I don't play games for like the hardest difficulties or like to get achievements, or that's just not me. That's not who I am. I do it because I genuinely want to try out this game and I want to involve a community with it. But it's mainly about the communication. It's the community that we've built. It's having a safe place for people to talk and bringing people together. And that's what I will continue to do. If that makes sense. Just went on such a tangent then. But hopefully it kind of like brought it all together of why
Really
I do
did.
what I do.
It really did. That was amazing.
Yeah.
That was incredible, Lisa. Thanks for sharing that. That was very inspirational. And yeah, no, and you're right. You know, everyone streams for a different reason, and you know, you found a place where you feel like you can contribute in a very, very positive way. You know, and
Yeah.
you know, doing it once a month, I think, is a great thing as well, because you know it makes those moments in time. You know, it's a spot moment of time each time, isn't it? So we can build it up and make it into something really beautiful and special. Whereas I think if it was more often, it probably wouldn't be as impactful.
100%.
Yeah.
And like I say, it is very draining. Like sometimes they'll go on for like 6 hours plus, and I'm at the end of it, I'm like, but what we tend to do is when we've had that big like conversation or whatever conversations we're having in that particular time, what we'll do is we'll then put music on. And I remember there's one time where we did it and I was like, right guys, and I put music on so loud and we all just vibed to it. Like there was just emotes in chat, and I think it was like Tiesto or something like or like Sandstorm, or just like a proper like and we all just absolutely just went crazy. And it was like, let's just get rid of that negative energy now. We spoke about it. Let's move on. Let's like clean slate it, you know. And that feeling was just like, it was euphoric in the best kind of way. And it was such a nice way to, and I try and do it every time now to end it like that, is to have like, you know, we've all come together close, we've all learned a lot from each other, and then we just breathe and let it go. And it's such an amazing feeling. And I hope that people get that feeling the same way that I do, because honestly, sometimes it can just be perfect. And it just, yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it for the world.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So we talked about how you you got your username and stuff like that. So do you remember what your first stream was like, and what was the thoughts going into that? What was that like?
So basically, like I say, I didn't start streaming. I didn't want to stream at first. Like it's weird how I got streaming. Do you want me to talk about like how I actually came streaming, or just my actual stream that I had?
Oh,
like,
both really.
Yeah. Okay, so like obviously I watched my sister stream and everything, and then I generally didn't. I made this Twitch account. Thought I'm never going to go back to this kind of thing, and then I randomly found someone on TikTok, because I didn't really watch TikTok or anything like that, and I watched them and they were playing this game, and I was like, oh, this looks kind of interesting. And I went, oh, no, I'll just go on that Twitch thing again and see if I can find him. And he was actually live when I was like looking for him. He was called Zaroff, and I still think very highly of this guy today. He doesn't stream very much now because he moved to China for a little while to be an English teacher, but we're still good friends. And when I do see him on, I will jump in his stream for sure. But like, so he was playing actually Little Misfortunes, and I don't know if you've played that game.
Not yet.
And I was watching. Yeah, you need to play it. Honestly, I've played it and it's so good. You'd love it. It's like dark humor.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure you've seen other people.
I have, yeah.
Play it. Honestly, it's
soon.
So good. And but he was playing that, and it was literally just me and him in the chat. And I was like, this is actually really fun. Like getting this reaction from this streamer. Like there's just me and him chatting in this chat. He doesn't know me from Adam. Like we were just chatting about the game and chatting about him and like all this kind of stuff. And I thought, this Twitch thing's pretty cool. Like you can have this instant response with someone, and you can have this instant connection. And I was like, I like this. And so he like brought me into his family of like people he watched, and like we watched a couple of his friends stream. And they were, oh, Lisa, when are you going to stream? And I was like, nah, I just like being a viewer. I just like being a viewer. And that probably went on for about 2 months maybe. And also I had my sister go with her community who were lovely, and I got on with their community really lovely. And I still talk to quite a lot of them now because my sister's one of them where she'll nip in and out of streaming. So she wasn't really about, but I was like carrying on making those friendships and those connections. And they were like, "Yeah, Lisa, when are you going to stream? When are you going to stream?" And I was like, maybe. And I'm in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, I could probably do it. And then I was like, I've got a PlayStation, I've got a TV, all I need is a camera. And I thought, okay, let's try this, let's give it a go. And the first stream, because like I said, I just started from my PlayStation, sat on my couch. My first stream was Kingdom Hearts. And I didn't even have a camera at this point. I just had a picture of Crash Bandicoot
Right.
as a little profile picture. And Zareth came into the chat and he was watching me, and a couple of my sister's community came in and were like, yeah, you're doing your first stream, we're all here for you, kind of thing. And I think I may have already, no, I weren't at 50 followers at that point, but I was very close to it because I'd already built that community, and they were all like, yeah, I might stream one day. Because sometimes, like, when you are going into it, if there is people here that do want to think about streaming, if you already in a community that streams and like they're edging you to, not edging you, that's the wrong word. They're like goading you into streaming, but in like a good way. You've already built those connections and built those friendships, and they want to see you succeed. I would say would be the best way to go about it, because they're all there for you as a community, like you were for them. And that's how I hit affiliate really, really quickly, because I did my first stream on the 28th of November 2020. Now, was it 20? Yeah, it will be. And I played Kingdom Hearts from the start, and it was great. And I was nervous, my heart was pounding. I remember my heart being in my throat, and I was like, I don't want to talk to people. And I had a headset on, and I was just like, what do I do? And I just watched what Zareth did, and he was really good at narrating the game. So even if there was nobody there, he would just narrate what he was feeling in that moment in the game. And I thought, this is actually a really cool way of doing it, because you're expressing how you're feeling about the game, which is all genuine and true. But then if people do come into the chat, you can still kind of talk to them, kind of thing. So that's what I did. I was like, oh. And it's kind of, when you think about it now, you think, oh God, how do I narrate a game? But it's just whatever thoughts are in your head at the time.
Yeah.
And it just, sometimes you can be funny, sometimes it can be real, like relatable. Sometimes you can find something in the game that's like a glitch or something that you can all laugh about, and it just kind of developed from there. And yeah, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I didn't even save the VOD because I had no idea how to do it. And my sister ended up coming in and helping me do it in the end. I remember, I think that was like my third or fourth one. She was like, you need to save your VODs, like otherwise it just doesn't even look like you stream. And I was like, oh right, okay. And then like she taught me about a lot of like, how it all worked and stuff, and you kind of learn as you go, like getting into people's chats, like stream etiquette, like you don't talk about your own stream unless they they ask you if you, like, how's your streams going, or do you stream, or if they shout you out, then that's a different story. But obviously you'll learn that as you go. But yeah, it was a very nerve-wracking experience, but I kind of loved the adrenaline of it as well.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy. Like I was like, afterwards I was like, oh yeah, I've done my first one now, like I can do this. And I think like my second or third stream was Layers of Fear.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there is videos of that, and you can there's clips of that video, because I got genuinely freaked out, and I was playing it, I think it was like during the day as well, and I was still freaked out by this game. And it was Layers of Fear 1. I don't know if you've played that, Johnny.
Yeah, the first one, not the second, but yeah, first one.
Yeah, the first one. And my reactions to it, everyone was loving it. Everyone was laughing their heads off at it. I was screaming the place down, and I was like, this is actually quite fun. Like the adrenaline. Like, I do. What I think is with me with games, especially scary games, I get very immersed in the game. So I forget there's people there, and I forget that I'm in a room just streaming to a camera, and I just immerse myself in the game to the point where I genuinely like I get like the breath, and I get like the shakes, and people are like, oh, this is funny to watch. Like, she's genuinely getting scared of this. And then that's kind of like how it all came about. And then I started playing, then I played Until Dawn and, those type of games. And oh my God, Until Dawn, when I first played that, I had nightmares for 2 weeks. I had to keep the light on. Those Wendigos. Honestly. Yeah. There was one point when I was playing that, when I was still streaming, and the night of me playing it, I had a nightmare, and I woke myself up. And do you know when you're that tensed up that you give yourself cramp in your legs? I cramped my legs so bad. And I was like, I don't think I can play this game anymore. It's giving me literal nightmares.
Yeah, it's actually hurting me.
Yeah. Well, I think I had to take a break from it for like 2 weeks or something. I was telling people on, I think it was Discord or Twitter or something, to say I genuinely can't play this game at the moment because it is giving me pain.
Oh man.
But yeah, it was mad, and it sort of just went from there. And then I think I streamed off PlayStation 4 for a year, which is crazy to think about.
Hmm.
But I built that community, and I'd still have like, I mean, that's the thing with PlayStation. You can always see the viewership in the top corner.
Yeah.
Like, I never look at my viewership, never ever. Like, I'd never have it on. And you can see it there, but there was like, what, 20 to 25, 30 people watching me, and I was like, why are people watching me? I've got no sound alerts. I'm on the tiniest PlayStation camera that I bought off eBay for 20 quid. But it was, I think people were connecting with me as a person and my personality and, that kind of thing. I thought, you know what, I enjoy this. Like, this is a lot of fun. And I met a lot of amazing people. Like the Maidenhead, who I'm really, really great friends with in real life. He was one of my first people that ever came into streaming, and I met a lot of other people through that as well, who I then met in real life, who are still really good friends of mine now. And it just sort of grew from there. And then I was like, I want to upgrade. I want to get a proper setup, and I want to have OBS, and I want to have jump scares. And I'm still working on it now. I still feel like a brand new noob with the PC and stuff, but I generally just love it. I really do.
Never ends.
There's just like, there's no feeling like it.
No.
Like, it's weird.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know how you describe it, like, for how you find it, but it's just like, I don't know, it's just addictive.
Yes. I was about to say that. Yeah, it is. It's so addictive, and it's one of the best things I've ever done. And like you said, I mean, I can relate somewhat to when you were saying that you don't have many WC IRL friends. I do see my Twitch friends as real people with real feelings that I think very, very highly of. And yeah, I can relate to that. And like you said, there's no better feeling than just playing a game, chatting, chewing the fat with your mates, really, whether no matter what part of the world they're from, Yeah.
Exactly. Like, I remember playing a game with Soulstrike once, and we were playing Among Us on his stream, and there was people from America, there was people from South Africa, and I was like, you don't get this anywhere else. Like, you'd never meet these people in a real life situation. And then, like, you've got people going, come to America, come visit me here, and come visit me here. And you're like, you'd never get that. And it's just like such an amazing experience. Like, obviously, I went to Fuzzball's wedding. I've never met them before. And honestly, when I met them, it was just like, there's a picture, actually. Let me show you. I don't know if this will work on here, but I got sent this yesterday. This is a picture from the wedding where I met Fuzzball and his wife, Jem, for the first time. And it's just like the perfect picture. It's really quite dark, but there's me, and they're hugging me. How sweet is that? And I was just like, I've never met these people before, but they just opened their arms to me. They opened their their wedding to me, which is such a big deal. And we all got on like a house on fire, like we'd known each other forever. It was crazy. It's crazy, the people that you meet, because you just vibe with people that you would never even think to talk to in real life. I love it. Honestly, love it.
So Fuzzball security.
He is.
Yeah. We obviously have not met him, so yeah.
Well,
we will meet.
They're going to come to the next Nightbreed meetup, so yeah, it's definitely
excellent.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that then. Let's talk about it. I was just talking about these are people we'll never really meet, but really, if ever. But I mean, we have twice. We've been to 2 meetups. I mean, what was that like? I mean, the first one was about 25 of us, and then the second one was like 40 of us. I mean,
oh yeah, it was incredible.
It was amazing, wasn't it?
I think the reason why I loved Manchester one so much is because obviously that's my hometown. So like, for me, it was like bringing you guys to see everything that we have in Manchester, which is such a unique place anyway. Like, it's very much a geeky kind of environment, like a unique environment anyway. So to bring people that are all into that kind of thing as well was such an amazing, like when we went to NQ64, for example, or even when we went to Almost Famous for the burgers, because we all love food. We all know that.
So good. They were good burgers.
Exactly. And it was just a really amazing experience to like, and it didn't feel like, it weren't awkward. It wasn't like we just all just got on so well. It was like we were just talking, like generally like not through a screen, but like we were just talking in real life, and was like, oh, this is weird. We're all talking in real life, but it just feels like normal.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But it was, I can't. It's just, I can't put it into words, to be honest. But it was like once in a lifetime. But obviously we're going to do it more because of how good they both went.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we talk about the next one and everything, and I just hope it continues, because you kind of like it's the same kind of people that everyone vibes with, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
everyone has obviously their own things going on and stuff, but to be able to like stop that for a day or for a weekend and just all come together and just support each other in a different kind of way, like in person, and say, you are my friend, like we've spoken on stream for over a year, we've followed each other, we've done this, that, and the other, but like genuinely, I want to spend my time with you. And it's such an amazing feeling. I
Yeah.
loved it. And I can't wait for the next one. I
Me
really can't.
neither. Me neither. And like, yeah, you just talk about that. We talk about that moment in time, and then you go home and you're like, oh, it's over.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
literally was like that. I was like, "When's the next one?" Literally
Yes.
straight away.
What's the next one?
Yeah,
We got to do this
yeah,
again.
yeah.
Oh,
It
it's
was
so good.
amazing. It
Um.
was
So
really
when
good. It's probably
let's.
one of my highlights. Yeah,
Oh
both of
yeah.
them.
Same. Yeah.
100%.
Totally.
I always
Totally.
talk about it to everybody, and they're like, "Oh, you stop talking about Cardiff now. We stop talking about Manchester." And I'm like, "I can't. It's too good."
I mean,
But
just on that, then that is a good point, though, isn't it? Because again, when we talk about IRL friends and family and stuff like that, who aren't really in the, shall we say, the Twitch scene, they don't get it, do they? They don't get what we go through and why we're addicted to this and why it's so special. If
yeah.
you had your own examples of that, I'm sure.
Oh, well, yeah. My relationship, for example, that obviously broke down. He did not get Twitch at all, and it was very difficult for me at the time, which I don't mind talking about now because obviously it's kind of done with. And yes, we're friends into a certain extent now, but there was times where like I couldn't stream. Like when I did stream, I could only stream when he was at band practice and stuff like that because I felt one self-conscious, because he would judge me. Like he would like if I went upstairs or whatever to, talk to him about something while I was streaming or like after stream or whatever, he was just very condescending with me and was like, "Hey guys," like, and I was just like, "Why are you taking the mick out of me? Like it's something that I enjoy. You have your things that you enjoy, and I don't. You do what you do. You have you." Because at the time he was in a band and he has his own studio at the time, so he would always do what he loved, but I was never allowed to do what I loved, and that was difficult for me, and that was one of the reasons why our relationship broke down. Um, but at the same time, there's been other times, like my dad, like I've shown my dad my streams, and he was actually at my house a few months ago now, and I had I showed him my stream on the TV, and he was like, "Well, he's like, you're actually really good at this. Like, you're good at entertaining. You're good at because me and my sister fell out for a little bit as well. I'll talk to you about that one in a little bit, but like because she just didn't get what I was about and what my streams were at the time. But then she actually watched my birthday stream last year when I was on the PlayStation 4, and she was like, "You know what, Lisa, I get it." Like, because we'd properly fallen out about stuff.
Mm.
And she was like, "You're really entertaining. You clearly care about these people. You know them. You like, you're asking them how the kids are. You're asking them this, that, and the other. And it's true and genuine. Like, I can't be anything else other than that. But it's hard for people to get when they're not doing it themselves and they're not feeling the way that we feel. Um, but yeah, that was a big thing. But I've like come to terms with it now, like in a way of like it made me happy. So if you couldn't see that made me happy, then maybe you don't make me happy, kind of thing.
Yeah.
A very real thing. And we'd been together for 12 years, so like I think we did just grow apart in that sort of sense. He wanted very different things than what I did. And to be honest, a few things that I struggled with was losing my mum and like being able to um portray that to him in a way. Like I felt like on stream I could be as open and as honest as I wanted and talk things through, but I felt like I didn't kind of get that back from him. Um and that was like I think he hated that because he was like something he couldn't be a part of. Does that make sense? Even though I said to
Mm.
him multiple times, "Do you want to come on stream? Do you want to play a game with me?" And he was just not for having it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, that is one thing. Like people, I mean, like I said, I don't mind talking about it now because it is what it is. But it was a big factor into things. Like I could only stream on certain. Like he did make a thing of like arguing with me before I was about to stream to the point where I didn't want to stream because I'd been crying or something. And he used to do that with me when I used to go out as well. Like I'd go out a night out or something because he didn't really like going on nights out. And like he always used to argue with me before I went out, like just to make me put me in a bad mood or something. I'm just like, people don't do that. Like it's just not like if you just I don't know. It was a very difficult time for me at the time because I struggled with it because I was like, do I quit streaming? Do I like try and save my relationship? And it was just a very like because I didn't really talk to a lot of people about it at the time either. Um but yeah, that was a very real moment for me, to do with
Yeah.
streaming and to do Twitch. But I'm glad that I made the decisions that I did because I'm a lot happier for them now, and I've made incredible friendships through it.
Yeah.
And like you say, the people that don't get it, they won't until
Yeah.
they experience it.
Hmm.
Does that make? I don't know if you have that in your
Oh, I
sort
do.
of yeah.
It's completely. I'm going to take a small tangent here and talk about a wrestling quote
Okay,
From Vince McMahon, who
okay,
explains a similar thing about wrestling, about people who are wrestling fans who don't get it. And one of the
mm,
things he said, and it applies to Twitch and streaming, in my opinion, and it's basically something along the lines of, if you something along the lines. I'll probably paraphrase it. It's like, if you get it, you'll understand, and if you don't, just what's the point? Basically, something along those lines.
yeah,
So
yeah,
if you get it, then you get it, and if you don't, well,
yeah.
why waste my time explaining it to you? You know,
Exactly.
and
Mhm.
it's true. I tend to find that with a lot of my friends and family, not in a negative way, but in a, like, if you don't get it, you don't get it. That's cool. Well, I
Yeah,
do this and I enjoy it, and
mm,
if you're happy for me, then
yeah,
great.
yeah. And with you saying that, like my old friends that I say like I have, like they're supportive and everything, but they don't get it. Like they're just like, what's this? What have you been doing on this Twitch thing? And they just kind of take the mick out of it a bit, and I'm just like, uh, I just keep it separate, very
Mm.
very separate from my real life, just because it's easier to
Yeah,
compartmentalize it sometimes. So it's Lisa Paranorma, and then there's Lisa, but we're still the same person,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
we're just it's just different parts, if that makes sense. And I like to keep it like that because it makes it, I don't know, a bit fun as well. Fun for me to be able to be Lisa Paranorma, be the same person that I am, but be like the more energetic side of me, or the more serious side of me, or like funny side, or like there's all different parts of me, but it's kind of like a brand. Does that make sense? I don't
yeah,
know if that. I
yeah.
don't know if that, it's weird to explain because your Twitch is your brand at the end of the day. Like your Johnny Beard,
Hmm.
you have your beard as your logo, and that's your brand and stuff like that. And like for me, my mind's kind of like. I don't really know what my brand is. If I went into it, I know it's purple because I love purple and I love cats and I love like ghosts and ghouls and witches and paranormal stuff. But like there's a lot to it, and that's why I like the name the Paranorma and the paranormals and that kind of thing because it's an umbrella of things, so it's
Hmm.
not just a one trick mind, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I do like to keep it a little bit separate, if that makes sense. But like, yeah, I don't, it's hard to explain. Like, I remember showing them my birthday stream when I when I had the cake in my face, and they
yes.
were just like, they just didn't get it. They were just like, and I was like, "I maybe should have showed you that." But I tried showing my workmates as well, and they were just like, "What is this?" But it is what it is. Like, it's just a part of us, and it's just our little part of the internet and our part of,
Yes,
like, what we enjoy doing. So
a-
there's nothing else to it really, so
absolutely. So,
mm.
is there any advice you would give to anyone that is thinking about picking up streaming and, um, yeah, what I mean, with your experience of it, all the ups and downs, what would you
Yeah,
say?
say with streaming is find a community first because the community is the biggest part of, like we said, is like find people that you vibe with, find people that you like to watch yourself because then you can, and if you fit in with that community and like you play a similar type of games or you're into the same kind of music, or you like Disney or whatever it is that you like and enjoy about that stream or whatever, but just take it away and make it your own. That is one thing I say is to make it your own, is to be an individual. Don't follow the big crowds. Don't buy all the equipment because, like, you can have all the equipment that you want, but like, it takes a lot to build a community and to like. It's taken me 2 years to get to where I am. And people keep. I know it sounds crazy. But people keep saying to me, "Go for partner." I'm like, I don't want to. That's just not something that I want to do. And someone said it to me last night in a stream. They're like, I can see you being partner." I was like, even if like people see it like it's just not something that I want to do, like for me it's my anxiety and stuff like that. But just with streaming is just do what makes you happy, play the games that make you happy, don't spend a fortune on it, build it up with time, build your community, get to know people properly. Don't do it as a money making scheme because you'll just burn yourself out and it won't happen. Like I watch some people and I kind of cringe, I'm not gonna lie. I'll be in someone's stream and they'll be like, "Oh, get me to this level of hype train," and I'm just like, "Oh, I can't. It's just not the way I particularly work." I don't know you don't either.
Mm.
Like, it's just not. I mean, if people do it like that and they get it, then a good luck to them. Like you've got Amaranth and all that palaver, but like for me, it's always been about one, my mental health, two, the community and the people that I've met along the way, and just enjoying yourself. And until like, if you don't enjoy yourself, don't do it because it's not worth it. It's not worth you getting burnt out. It's not worth about you thinking about the numbers. Like I say, I never have my numbers on. I never know from one time to another. Sometimes it comes up in my chat, which is kind of annoying actually, but
Yeah.
it's my wise bot thing. But like, I don't know. It's like I just don't think about that stuff. And I see so many people on Twitter that are like, do this, do that. If this isn't working, do this. And I'm just like, just do what you want.
Mm.
Honestly, like don't make it so hard for yourself. Just go on, enjoy it. Like I've not streamed for a while. Like I've streamed, I think I streamed 3 times last month. And that's not like me at all. But that's due to the start of the year. That's to do with my personal life, which is a good thing. Like it's been a good thing that this has happened, that this my personal life has improved because, like I say, I was a very lonely person before and things like that. But I'm going out, meeting more people, seeing more friends, doing more things. I've been to so many Twitch meetups, not just the Nightbreed ones, even ones in Manchester, and I've been invited to one at the end of this month as well for another group of people. And it's not necessarily about all the streaming and stuff; it's about all the stuff that comes with it as well. So like yeah, it's I'm going off on so many tangents here because my brain just goes.
It's fine.
But like to get back to your point of giving people advice would just be enjoy what you do. Don't make it about the money. Don't invest a lot of money into it at first. Build it up, and if you do end up making a little bit of money and then you want to put it back into streaming, then that's the best way to do it. Like I did that. I bought my camera after a year. I bought my PC, which is only a very basic PC, and I know that. And obviously, I stream through a capture card PlayStation setup, which I've had this PlayStation 8-9 years now. So like, I'm definitely doing an upgrade. But like, it just takes time,
Yeah.
but just do it at your own pace. Like, don't be forced or pressured into playing like the popular games because with the popular games, yes, you might get viewers in. But you don't really make a community from that. You'll see them viewers once or twice maybe, and then because like I don't get the whole I want to stream this game because I'm going to get this people in and
Yeah.
this like I just don't get it. Like I would rather play a game that I enjoy or a game that I'm interested in, like a story game. Like I love story games, like Life is Strange games. Love those games, or like the Man of Medan or Little Hope, something like that. That's like visually pleasing to watch, and like you've got your jump scares, so you've got like the element of entertainment and content out there as well, and you can obviously co-op those games as well, so you're meeting new people, like when me and Matalani played it, um, and things like that. So like, there's so many different types of streams you can do. You don't even have to play games. Like, I'm gonna do a cooking stream at some point soon. I want to do an in real life stream where I'm like walking outside sometime in the summer, or like going to a theme park, or like we did try and stream Soul Strike's gig, but that did not work because of the place we were at. But like, it doesn't have to be always about the games and
Yeah.
the viewership and all that kind of stuff. There's so much more to streaming. There's so many people that you can meet, and I always believe that like people that you meet, it's weird. It's like fate sometimes when you meet certain people in streams. Like I remember how I met you. I remember how I met Soulstrike. I remember how I met Charlie. And if I didn't meet Charlie, I wouldn't have met any of you guys.
Mm.
And like, you meet that one person in a stream and they can change your entire life. The same with Peaceful. Like, I wouldn't have known Peaceful if it wasn't for your charity stream last year. And now I work for him. I'm his mod, I'm his recruiter, and I'm in his stream team. And it's like, if I hadn't had that interaction with you, to then have that interaction with him, like I go to gaming events with him, and we're going to do more stuff this year. We're going to TwitchCon together, and like we're hopefully going to go together. We've not fully got it worked out yet, but like there's so many opportunities that can come for it. That's not
Yeah.
just the case of a stream. Does that
Mm.
make sense?
Total sense. No, that's fantastic answer. Brilliant.
Thank you.
I know you said it's not about the games. I haven't asked you one question. I will ask this final question because we haven't got to it really. That's because we were talking about non-game stuff, about streaming in general.
Yeah.
It's been a really fascinating chat. But one final question, which is, if you were stuck on a remote island and you could only have 3 games with you, what would they be and why? And that'll be a final question.
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, it's got to be Kingdom Hearts for one, hasn't it? Really?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah,
it has to be because it's an RPG. It's Disney. It's everything that I want in a game. And like you say, you can do it in the hardest difficulty. So if you're finding that one day that you are really bored, one day you want to go for those hard games, you can do that. That would be one. Two would be probably like a quiz game. I know it sounds weird, but
Yeah.
like, like a Wheel of Fortune or a trivia game, something that like keeps your brain active, keeps you like on your toes.
Like
Something that,
Jackbox, maybe.
yeah, well, yeah,
Because you,
Jackbox
you
would
can have
be
internet, can't you? So you're on the island, but you have got internet, so you can play Jackbox with your mates off the island.
love Jackbox. Love some Jackbox. I've had some hilarious nights playing Jackbox. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
Jackbox would 100% be in there. And what would be a third one? Oh, it's a good question. That something that I've never played before. Like when we were talking about the other day, weren't we? Undertale.
Oh
Like
wow. Yeah.
something that I can get my teeth stuck into and just enjoy for the first time. Like that's something I want to play sometime soon. So I'd probably say something like that. Because I don't know much about it, and I'll be
Yeah.
excited to have that time. Because that's the problem with like the way the world is this minute. We all work, we all have lives. There isn't just a time where you can just sit down for hours on end and just enjoy a game these days. There really
Yeah.
isn't, because life just gets in the way. So if I was stuck on a remote island, I'd want games that I can absolutely tank and I can
Yeah.
just go for it and enjoy. And that would be me. Kingdom Hearts, a quiz game, or like a like you say, an online Jackbox or something like that, to be able to talk to friends and still communicate. And then something like Undertale that I've never played before and know nothing about.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah. What would yours be?
Oh,
I
mine.
know you probably get that a
I've
lot, but
I've I've done this, haven't I? So I chose Final Fantasy 9.
mhm.
Oh, what did I choose now? I chose Final Fantasy 9, my all-time favorite game. So Final Fantasy 9. I think I
Oh, so
might have
nice.
chosen. Oh, I love 9. Yeah. I think I
Yeah.
chose like Left 4 Dead 2, so that you can play that online.
True.
And like I don't know what I chose, and like something like Resident Evil 4 maybe or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I
I
can
think.
see
Oh, I can't remember. I think that's what I
Yeah.
said. It changes all the
Yeah.
time. Ask me next week,
Yeah.
it'll be something different.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? There's always so many games coming out all the time that like you're bound to change your mind at some point. But you might get something else that you think, yeah, absolutely love this game. This is it now. This is me.
that's true.
But yeah,
Lisa, thank you so much. One more time, can you just promote where we can find you on your socials?
yeah,
But thank you. Where can
yeah.
we find
So
you?
you can find me on Twitch as LisaParaNorma, and you can find me on TikTok as Lisa Paramore. For some reason, I'm not on that. I need to change that at some point. I'm on the Twitters. I'm on Instagram as well. We try and get a bit of content out of a few different places. But yeah, and usually do Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7:30.
There we go.
And we'll play whatever we feel like playing on the day.
I'm right. I'm right. Go and
Yeah.
check Lisa out, guys. Honestly, she's brilliant. Thank you so much. It's been a what a chat. And we didn't even get to
Yeah.
talk about Final Fantasy 7 remake. Oh well,
Ah!
we'll talk about it another time.
Yeah, I have to come on again for sure.
Yeah,
But this has been amazing. I've really, really enjoyed it. It's been nice to have one-on-one time with Johnny Beard, of course. But
yay.
talking about like the journey and everything. Sometimes you forget about it all. Like
Yeah.
you forget where you've come from and like all the people you've met along the way. And yeah, it's been nice to reminisce. So thank you. It's been lovely.
Thanks so much. All right, everyone.
Yeah.
Have a good time. Take care. Bye.
Bye.